Hello, lovely people of the Face Place. I am delighted to be here with you today. I am Angie Matson-Stegall. I'm running my phone with the live, and I'm running my computer so that I can also see what's going on out there in the Facebook land. So, forgive me while I manage both. I am so happy to be here with you today. I'm actually here in my new office here in Gastonia, North Carolina. And if you're not from around the Charlotte area, Gastonia is a smaller town across the river from Charlotte to the west. So I have a new space with all of my things and my books and my oracle cards and my lovely painting from my delightfully awesome friend Nancy Richards. I think last count was 8 pieces of her artwork because they're so great. And it just delights me to have things around me that are lovely. Oh yeah, and the heart that's right there was made out of copper by my friend Haynes Hoffman, Blue Water Copper Works. He's an amazing artist. He mostly makes fish that hang on the wall that are like really large. They're really fantastic. He's quite a great artist too. So that was a gift from my husband, the artwork from Haynes. Let's see. Today I am here to talk about my new 4-month small group coaching program called Unbecoming. We start Thursday, January the 6th. And if you want to hop over to the website, it is my website, angiestegall.com, ANGIESTEGALL.com/unbecoming. You can find all the details, dates, investment, everything right there. But I wanted to do a live about it, just to kind of set the tone, to answer any questions, to give some testimonials from other small groups that I have offered, and the results that people have gotten from working with me. So the idea of unbecoming came to me, a couple of months ago. And I say that, and that's not really true. The idea for unbecoming, I think, has been growing for a long time. And I notice this because I tend to snapshot things on my phone that are impactful or that kind of grab me or that are arrows to the heart that just like, got me. And I've been going through all of the photos on my phone for the past year. And there are dozens, literally dozens of appropriate memes and snapshots of books and all kinds of things that I'm going to weave into this program, this experience of unbecoming. So the idea of unbecoming came from this military kind of a term. I'm a Navy brat. Was born near Monterey, California, and have moved a bunch of times. I don't even know how many, 15 times, before I was 20 years old. And there's this saying that conduct is unbecoming of an officer, or that is conduct unbecoming of a lady. And I really kind of chewed around with the idea of what is becoming? Like, what is appropriate? What is okay and acceptable? And when I think about my life, I have done some things that are not totally acceptable, like quitting my job, loading all of my stuff into a U-Haul, including my 2 cats and my car on a car carrier behind my U-Haul, and driving to the next state, moving from Virginia to North Carolina with no job, very little savings. It just was time to go. And I just knew it. And so I did it. So I have done all manner of things that are not culturally or socially acceptable. And so I've just kind of always lived my life that way. And I find in my coaching and wayfinding that I am often encouraging people to be truly themselves. Even if their family's not going to agree with it, even if the church says it's not okay, even if the town would never, ever have people in it that do those sorts of things. It is my real belief that we get to choose how to live our lives in the way that we want to live them. And so rather than becoming who we are supposed to be, this group is about encouraging you to undo all of that and become unbecoming to the boxes that people try to put us in. Be unbecoming to the rules and the responsibilities and the things that people tell you are the right way to do things. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, but if they fundamentally rub you the wrong way or don't make you joyfully happy at your core, what I call your core of peace, which is one of the things we're going to help you find during this program, then those boxes don't fit you and those rules don't work for you. And there is nothing that says you have to follow them. And I know people are going to argue with me about that, and that's okay. I'm used to that. That's totally fine. But the point of unbecoming is watching people transform into the people that they know that they are and creating lives that light them up like sparklers. Like at the end of a coaching engagement with somebody, that's what I want to see. Joy in their face, living their lives fully, having made either teeny tiny shifts in that direction or just blew everything up and got there. It's magical to watch. And I happen to be really good at shepherding people in that direction. So, a couple of quotes that I want to read to you. This one is from a woman named Adrienne Marie Brown. And she says, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. And I am all about rebellion for the right and necessary things, which those right and necessary things to me are your happiness, your satisfaction, and your ability to find your core of peace. So the only way to deal with an unfree world, and the world is feeling a little unfree these days, the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. So I love that one. The other one that I want to read to you comes from my mentor. So I am a Martha Beck certified Wayfinder life coach. That's the certification that I hold. Martha Beck's written a bunch of books. She has been featured in Oprah's magazine for, I don't know, forever, since the first issue. And now that it's no longer in print, I think she was in every stinking issue of that magazine. She's written a bunch of books, and this quote comes from her book, Finding Your Own North Star. And she says, if you want to make the world a better place in any way, you have to start by becoming whole yourself. If you want to make the world a better place in any way, you have to start by becoming whole yourself. And I love shepherding people back to wholeness, back to who they truly are, back to what they truly love, back to that place where joy is just emanating out of them. And other people say, wow, you seem really happy. Are you really as happy as you seem? And the people say, yeah. Maybe not every day in every moment in every way, but oh my goodness, life is good. Life is so good. And That's my jam. That's what I love. Okay, so in this 4-month small group wayfinding experience, we are going to together reveal what isn't working. How are you at odds with yourself? How are you at odds with your culture, your religion, your government, your family, your partner, your pets, your house, your car, whatever? What are you at odds with? We're going to identify some tolerations and some power leaks and transform those with little teeny tiny turtle steps. I will help you discover your core of peace and help you return there again and again. I will help you rediscover what delights you at your core, because your internal signals are just gold. In fact, I'm going to stop there and tell you about the funniest conversation I had today with somebody in my coaching group that I'm a part of. So I'm a coach. I have coaches, 2 of them. They're really fantastic. And then I have some friends who are coaches, and we hike and coach, which is very helpful. But I have 2 very powerful coaches that I work with. And this is a woman that I met in my coaching group. And she called me today. And this was like our first meeting to just say hey and get to know each other better. And she got on the phone with me and she said, Angie, I can't keep working my full-time job and try to build my coaching business. And she said, I'm going to quit my job. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And she was like, no, really, I'm going to quit my job. Okay. And she said, I'm not even scared. And I was like, great. And she said, this feels really weird. And I said, what does? And she said, I just know I'm going to quit my job and it's going to be okay. But she said, I haven't made a pros and cons list like I normally do. I haven't talked to anybody about this. I just know this is what I need to do. And I was like, great. And she said, but it feels weird. And I said, maybe it's just unfamiliar. Maybe this is actually how you're supposed to make decisions for yourself. And she was really quiet. And she said, what, like feeling my feelings? And I said, yeah, feeling your feelings. And she was quiet for a long time. And then she just kept saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. She said, I have to hang up now. This is all we were supposed to talk about today. And I was like, okay. And she said, I have to go dance around my living room. She said, I have a lot of energy in my body. And I was like, great, put on some good music and have a good afternoon. And we hung up. And so, like, radical transformation and radical joy can bubble out of you by feeling your feelings, feeling your internal promptings, and following them, saying yes to them. Is it always that easy? Not always, but a lot of the time it is. Okay, during Unbecoming, we are also going to help you honor your internal motivations, even if they are at odds with your culture. And I just gave you a fantastic example of that, because culture says you don't quit your job without making sure you know what you're doing and you have a plan and you have 12 months of savings and you have this and you have that. Sometimes yes, if that's what your inner promptings tell you. Sometimes no. We are also going to practice honoring, trusting, and loving yourself, like at a deep and fundamental level. I find that lack of self-love, lack of self-honoring, lack of self-compassion are the root of a lot of what causes our suffering. And how do I know this? Because that was my problem. It took me years to really settle into self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, self-compassion, and then deeply and truly just loving myself, looking in the mirror every day, smiling big, and just saying, I love you. Oh my gosh. Aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky to be incarnated with this soul in this body right here, right now? We are a precious child of God. And it took me a long time to be able to say that and to really mean it, but I do. And so that is one of the things that I work on a lot with my clients. And we are going to work on that in this Unbecoming program. We will also begin to practice letting things fall away, also known as burn, baby, burn. Just shedding the things that don't serve us anymore. And it doesn't have to be like you take the grenade and pull the pin and like throw the grenade into your life or your work. You don't have to do that unless you want to. You don't have to do that. But it can be a slow practice. This is safe, I'm doing it. This is safe, I want this. This is safe, I'm doing this. A lovely practice of letting things fall away. And then finally, you get to begin forming the new you, or what is actually the real you. Who you fundamentally are. What fundamentally brings you joy. I talk a lot about wanting what you want and wanting it with your whole heart, and then inviting it in and receiving it when it comes. That can be like a big super challenge all by itself, but saying yes. And so we'll talk about a little dance around that, and some noticing and what works really well. Okay, so that's the fundamentals of what we're going to do over 4 months, 8 sessions in Unbecoming, the small group wayfinding experience. Now, I ran a program during COVID. It was supposed to be in person. COVID blew all that up, so we ended up meeting on Zoom, which is how we're also going to do Unbecoming. And the results of that program were pretty awesome. And so I just wanted to read to you some of the things that the participants said at the end of that program. So one participant said, I appreciated the confirmation that I received from the group. So there was a container that we created at the beginning, and this person got a lot of value from just who was in the group and the spirit with which they showed up. And that's really important to me. She said, I also experienced a new level of permission from myself to go forward with the big plans that I have. She said, going into the group, I had an idea of what I wanted to do and knew that I would let that develop. It was the other parts that I found most helpful. And she said it was permission, making sure that I was feeding my soul, dropping the guilt, being strong in my why, and finding things to dig a little deeper into. Another person said, in my perspective, Angie's superpower is her ability to give intuitive guidance, asking questions not yet asked, and reframing something said in a completely new way. She said, Angie's uncanny ability to say there, that, meditate on that, spend time with that, sit in a forest with that. And we'll talk about sitting in a forest a little bit more during Unbecoming. She said, that sounds small at first, but Angie shines a light on it, and that often turns out to be life-changing and completely redefining for the person. Another person said, initiating change in my life is actually a skill that I discovered. If I have a formula for change that I want to make and I hone the skill, it can become mastery. And I am now on the path to desired mastery. Another person said, many of us are experts at what we do to get to the things we want, but we forget about being. And it all starts with being. Another person said, Angie does not back down when the coachee needs to be challenged, which can be tough to do in a group setting. But Angie also couples it with sensing when each participant got there. So a little bit of challenge is healthy for everybody. And I rely a lot on my intuition and feelings and guidance from Spirit, God, Universe, to help direct what happens in the program, to help direct the questions that I ask participants. And finally, Another participant said, being clear with me and for me while being supported by and with others. To trust that I have all the answers within myself and they are accessible. And I can grow in ways far beyond what I could originally perceive when I allow the magic of the world, nature, and universe to support and love me. That is the greatest summation of working in a group with me, is the power of the container and the people in it, and then giving everyone full permission to be as wide open, honest, hilarious, sad, frustrated, connected, intuitive, and woo-woo as they want to be. And all of those things can happen in one session, or they can happen and unfold over many sessions. But it is so much fun to work with a group and watch all of that occur. Okay, so if anyone is here and has questions about the group, I would love to answer them. Feel free to type them in the chat. And if you are watching a replay of this, go ahead and type your questions in the chat while you're watching the replay, and I will be happy to answer them as I see them pop up over the next few days. Also, if you are watching this replay and you think, oh my gosh, my friend, insert name, would be really interested in this program, I'm going to redo this live. I think I had planned on doing it on Tuesday the 14th. Yes, Tuesday the 14th. So that's this coming Tuesday. I think at 4:30. And I will post on my Facebook page and remind folks that I'm going to do that. There are early bird registration specials for the investment. They do end on Friday, December 17th. And then the price does go up, I think, by about $300. So if you want to get in on the pricing that is early bird pricing, go ahead and go to angiestegall.com/unbecoming to check out the investment and get yourself enrolled. Seats are going, and my goal is to be completely sold out by December 17th. So get on it if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching this live. I have no idea how long I have been talking. Probably, 20 minutes. Hopefully that gave you a really good overview of what this program is going to be all about. And I would be delighted to answer any questions that you have, or to hop on the phone even to see if this would be a good fit for you. Reach out, ask your questions. I'm delighted that you were here with me. And thanks so much for watching. And I look forward to hearing from you, either with questions that you're interested or seeing your registration come through. Take care, everybody. Thanks.